me tell you something about my grandma. Give you a little idea where I come from.
Oh,
So
boy.
we used to play pranks, right? And we were at I was at my aunt's house, my mom's sister. I got cousins my age. There's a bunch of us. I have 16 cousins. So, we're staying there. Grandma's there. It's in the middle of the night. And we take saran wrap and we go and we put it over the toilet bowl. Right. So, people go to the bathroom and it's just a bad experience. Well, grandma wakes up in the middle of the night and goes into the bathroom and sees the saran wrap on the toilet, pulls it off, goes to the bathroom, and then puts it back on.
Oh, man.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. My name is Pritesh with Kaizen Crypto. In this video, we are talking to the DripDropz.io team. So we are joined by lots of people here today. We've got a full house. I guess we will go ahead and get started by doing some introductions. So Kyle, I guess we'll go ahead and start. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your role within the DripDropz platform.
Hey, my name's Kyle Solomon. I guess I started out in the Cardano community as a stake pool operator during the ITN, and I just kind of got involved in various projects in the community. Most of you guys know me as a little green frog on Twitter. I'm CEO of DripDropz, and I was very, very fortunate enough to have all these wonderful, wonderful team members come and rally around this concept that we've all contributed to put together for the community.
Nice. Very cool. Anthony.
Hi, I am Anthony. I am a partner in Bloompool, and that's where I started on the Cardano blockchain. And I'm also part of the token team, which has led me to DripDropz.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Thank you for that. Andrew.
I'm Andrew Westberg. I've been a stake pool operator at Blue Cheese Steakhouse since the ITN days. I also am the CTO at Project Noom. And I met Kyle for the first time out at the Wyoming Cardano Summit. And he floated this idea of DripDropz to me back then. And I said, I'm kind of building something sort of like that in Firehose. And so he gave me some more ideas. We turned it up to 11 and took Firehose to the next level with this project. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that in this video today. That's awesome. Chris.
What's up, Pritesh? Good to see you, brother. I'm Chris Hockaday. And I do whatever I'm told to do by these guys here. Part of Token, a Doja, a whole bunch of different projects on Cardano here at DripDropz, making stuff happen.
Very cool. Awesome, brother. Quinn.
Hey, thank you for having us on here. I'm Quinn. I'm the smart contract developer for DripDropz, as well as Token and a Doja. I'm also a stake pool operator, but I don't promote it. I like to have my small underground pool that no one uses. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about some DripDropz.
Nice. I don't know, man. That's some shadowy supercoder stuff right there. That's awesome. Very cool. Lathisan.
Hi, I'm Lathisan, and I'm a co-founder of Token, the NFT marketplace and minting. And Carl reached out to me and said, I had this idea. And I was like, yeah, we need Andrew on this, because Andrew was already helping Token with his Firehose. I knew he was the guy for this, and here we are. I'm the CTO, and I look after the application people use. And the thing that powers the whole brain of the operation was Andrew's, which is Firehose. I guess we can call it backend.
Okay, nice. And Rick.
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm a partner at the Digital Fortress Cardano Stake Pool, and I also do the Cardano Live podcast. I've really enjoyed doing those kind of podcasts, and thanks for inviting me over here today, Pritesh. I appreciate it.
Nice. Yep, absolute pleasure, Rick. Pei.
So my name is Peyton. I got my start in Cardano by running a YouTube channel called Big Pay. Later on, I actually was the co-founder of Bloom, and I am actually in the role of marketing for the DripDropz team.
All right, very cool. Guys, we've got a rock star team here. I'm looking forward to getting into everything DripDropz in this video today. Um, I guess one question that I really had to start things off is just, how this idea came about. I guess we heard about it a little bit during Wyoming. I guess I had just seen some interviews that you guys had put together, and you guys were talking about how this idea had come about when we were all at this Cardano summit. But I wanted to get into that a little bit just as like a background to what we're going to be talking about today. So I guess this really could be for anybody, but just tell us a little bit about why the project was created.
Ooh, it's a good one. Do I take this one?
Yeah, you're good at it.
Okay. So first, the first concept for DripDropz, before it was ever DripDropz and before there was ever a solution, there was a problem that was identified. And so part of the problem that we identified was the permanent collateral damage that is applied when ISPOs basically conduct business on the blockchain. So what we mean by that is when an ISPO launches and it acquires delegation in droves, then a lot of ADA migrates out of pools that rely on that ADA. So many of the SPOs and our friends in the community had shut down their pools, and it was a permanent shutdown. So you're basically creating a permanent collateral damage for a temporary solution. It's the ISPO model is great for business, but there's a lot of collateral damage. Those SPOs are not going to come back to the platform when the ISPO is over. So to maintain decentralization, you want as many SPOs as you possibly can on this platform. And if you're knocking them out like that, we wanted to provide a solution, and it's not an end all say all solution, but it definitely helps retain delegation in smaller pools. And we'll get into that, but basically DripDropz was derived from that problem right there.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that we're still seeing to this day. I guess there's some ISOs right now that are really putting the hurting on some smaller pools. So I guess with DripDropz, I feel like you've almost made it so that the ISPO model is obsolete. I guess if any of these token projects or even stake pools have their own token, right, they can reward their delegators or anybody who wants to receive those tokens.
Right. We've upped the game, and we've created more opportunity for people to counter this the ISPO kind of concept of attracting delegation away with one token. We had started to speak up about it as individuals, and a lot of the backlash was, oh, you're just a stake pool operator, you're losing stake. And me personally, I wasn't getting hit that hard just because I have a different type of customer base. And it was in a Twitter space, and I heard one of these very large ISPO guys say the SPOs are just going to have to get used to it. And that really pissed me off.
And it really raises the bar. Sorry, Rick. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Raising the bar. I was going to speak to the same thing. Go ahead, Pay.
It really raises the bar for everyone, not just SPOs, even projects. It allows anyone on the Cardano blockchain to distribute their tokens to their users or, delegates of a certain stake pool. So, whereas a project, they have so many things to focus on, whether they're building a liquidity, protocol like Liquid. This allows them to focus on what they need to, and not token distribution and building out this platform that, would normally cost thousands of dollars for each project that's doing it. It's open for everyone.
In the way it increases the quality of projects that are going to come and try and do ISPOs on Cardano, we're providing enough latitude for incentives where a project's going to have to be very, very, very good to come into our ecosystem with one token and pull users away from the Drip ecosystem. So it kind of puts them into an area where they've almost got to play ball in a way, in an environment that's competitive. So it's going to be interesting. It changes the game quite significantly from what we saw, and it kind of levels the playing field in a lot of ways.
We're not knocking the ISP model at all. The ISP model is valid, and there will be projects that come along that have the value proposition to merit, such an endeavor. But just to highlight on what Anthony said a little bit ago, I don't want to say any names about any past ISPOs on Cardano, but there was one where there are still to this day, and this is an inactive ISPO, it's no longer active, but there is still about 40 million plus ADA being staked to these pools that are, dead. There's nothing going on there. So those delegates, they migrated over for this temporary thing that they may or may not see later on, and now they're not getting any rewards at all.
Well, what we stopped is this whole next wave ICO race that was going to come in via this ISPO model, and we've corralled it in a responsible way, I believe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't make the ISPO model obsolete. The ISPO model, as Chris was saying, it's a valid model, and it's an important model. But you do have delegators left behind. 40 million stake, for example, is a good example. But it also makes an attack vector. But first, focus on the positives, and that is the ISPOs and DripDropz and non-ISPOs and other different business models that we haven't even thought of yet can all coexist in the Cardano system. It's just people have to be aware what are the strengths and weaknesses of each of these models. One of the weaknesses of the ISPO model is that it kind of opens up an attack vector where anybody can launch any kind of ISPO and promise the world and deliver nothing. And that's a problem, because that people have years of experience running scams on other blockchains, and they will bring that scam experience to Cardano, and they could certainly run a scam like that. I'm not encouraging people to do it. I'm making people aware of it, because the more people know, the better, that can happen. And the current ISPOs that we have running on Cardano have been very effective. They've been very open, public, visible, and building. And you can see that they are good models. And now people know what good looks like. But, not to be fooled, be alert if something shows up that is not of the quality of what we've seen so far. It is very likely to happen.
Yeah, we made it difficult for that kind of attack to happen. At the same time, just to agree with Rick, we do like the ISPO model. I mean, that's one of the reasons, we made the DripDropz, because we wanted to promote it, but not in a non-destructive way. Take token, for example. We're trying to raise capital to build the token platform out, and we are running an ISPO, but you would never see everybody rushing to, that pool. It would be advertised to the user base, and then we have a token, utility token, and the way we're going to distribute it is everybody gets it on the network, but if you happen to be staked at token, you get slightly bit more higher. That's the incentive. So it's a safe way of doing ISPO without having people fragment or run to one particular pool to get that particular token.
And competitively, while the reason it puts ISPO into our game is because you can go out and do an ISPO and raise all the marketing and get a whole bunch of delegators. But DripDropz is always going to likely have a wider distribution than if you were to take and do an ISPO on your own. And distribution's everything.
Yeah, I mean, when we were on the other podcast, somebody mentioned the question was how does this really help small pool? And that question, it was back on my mind the whole time. And Kyle answered it work with the projects. And I was like, but how exactly could a project, a pool, work with a project? What can the pool offer to the project, right? There's so many ways that you just have to get creative. Back then, having a pool was enough to attract delegation, because there was less than a couple of hundred pools that were up, and then the wave came, but then everybody was drowning because there's too many, right? So how do the small ones can survive? What if you happen to have some token incentives, say, hey, could you add our pool as one of the to a project? Could you add as our pool as one of yours? And what we will do is we will give everyone who's staked here some other token that we have. Or they could do we can give you financial incentives, send us, add us to your pool, and from the rewards we make, we'll give you 5%. There can be deals negotiated. You can just get creative. We can't spell out the exact solution for you. We've created the platform so people could go and figure these out. I just wanted to add that because I didn't get to speak about this last time.
Well, and it's not really about ISPOs in general. That's kind of how the discussion started. And we all were coming together and having different discussions. And Wyoming really just solidified it. That's where, the team was born. And we all figured out, okay, this is how we're going to roll together and really try and do this, because that's, we kind of solidified the core concept. But since then, the ideas that we have just to continue pushing this, it's really remarkable in that regard. But what DripDropz does is it gives stake pools an opportunity to for better survival as smart contract staking comes into play, because that's really going to change the ecosystem. And these guys, they need all the tools they can get.
And if I could add to that, the survival of pools and building those out, we've seen a couple different things that help small pools out. One, and the biggest, I think, and the most important is people are moving their ADA off of exchanges at a crazy rate, because we know this because we get emailed when their stake is not active. So if you come to DripDropz and you put in a wallet address that's not staked, or the stake hasn't become active yet, it will let you know. And usually they email us and say, hey, I just staked, or I moved from here, or or whatever. So we know the numbers that are coming in from exchanges, and that's great because they're moving into pools. The next thing is that people are splitting their wallets and staking to multiple pools now. One, because of CC Vault. So thank you. Shout out to CC Vault for creating an awesome wallet and making that possible, because we've seen lots of people split into multiple different pools now and start spreading delegation around. So that has also helped. And then, of course, you have the newcomers coming in from different blockchains, which we've seen a lot of as well. So that's just to add to Kyle's point there.
And I think that's my personal favorite side effect, which is not really a side effect. I mean, this is the behavior you wanted to encourage, but it's this to see all this, these people coming from exchanges, getting their money off exchanges and starting to stake and learn about staking and, get engaged with the protocol and learning. And I mean, you couldn't ask for a better scenario.
Well, I think in that case, the education aspect comes a lot into play too. A lot of people, they want the easiest way to be able to, earn those staking rewards. I guess if they're able to leave it on an exchange, to them, the user experience, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to set it and forget it. But then I guess it's up to the community members within the ecosystem already to help educate those people that are coming in and tell them the benefits of, hey, you're not only going to be able to earn passive rewards just by holding your own coins, your own tokens, you're also going to benefit decentralization, help these stake pool operators. It's a lot of education as well.
And it's the only way to use DripDropz. Your wallet must be staked to a pool in order to use DripDropz. So it doesn't work from within exchange.
Yep. And it also takes 2 epochs, just like ADA rewards. So we reward people from DripDropz the same way that they get rewarded in ADA. So the same 2 epochs of delegation, then you earn rewards. That's the same for DripDropz. So you've got to be staked for a little while before you can grab those rewards.
Yeah.
I've actually had multiple people reply to my video and state, now I finally have a reason to pull my ADA off of exchanges. So I can definitely speak to that.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I just want to clarify what Andrew said. The pool that you've delegated to not necessarily have to be making or blocks and being rewarded. That's not the point. It's just that the ADA they've staked has to be active for 2 epochs. We recently updated the site so it's clear for you. So if you go in and you put your address and sorry, we don't have your rewards, but it gives you information. If you did start staking before X block, epoch, when you can anticipate it basically. So users should get an informed error, I guess.
And for any new user who may be listening to this and gaining some interest in participating, dissimilar from other chains, if you pull your ADA off of an exchange and you want to start staking it, your ADA, it's still at 100% in your control. Your stake is not locked. It's still liquid. I just wanted to point that out. There's probably a lot of new people who might not be familiar with that part of it.
Yeah, this caught me off guard for early days, you know, like when I just discovered Cardano and the whole staking thing came up. I thought you, as a newbie back then, like your ADA was being sent to the pool, so they're gonna look after it. That's not what's happening when you're staking. Staking is very simple and safe. You are basically delegating your wallet balance to a particular pool to secure the network.
Okay, so your keys have two sets. You got staking power and you got spending power. So you're essentially delegating your staking power, not your spending power. You can control your funds. You can move them, remove them, send them wherever you want without waiting, and your stake to the pool adapts essentially.
Exactly.
So as you can see, we've been focusing on creating educational content because the amount of new people that are coming in or coming off of exchanges, we've already started to mentally prepare. We're on Pritesh's podcast right now explaining what staking is.
Well, yeah, no, and guys, seriously, any content creator that's watching this, get your drip referral link and make very basic videos on how to onboard to Cardano, because we're going to be driving a ton of new users.
I want to add to that what Kyle said is, you content creators, you have a unique opportunity to go after every tokens we've listed and actually explore what they do. Because that's something the community has a huge appetite for, because we can do our best, and that's actually the feature I'm working on now, to add the project details on the website. But there's only, like, nobody reads, you know, like they want someone to do the work for them and actually summarize it and say, here's what this project is and why it might be good and what the utility is. That's a really unique proposition for content creators. With the referral link, you know, get that 100.
Yep. No, I got that referral link. That's a big plus.
Have you gotten any withdrawals? You gotten bonus drip yet?
Yep.
Nice.
It just it drips in, man. That's what it is. It'll just keep dripping.
Just drippy.
Yep, that's it. Well, cool, guys. That's a lot of
guides. Sorry, Pritesh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Please go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to add that we're going to be adding some guides to the platform. So when a new user comes on and they enter an address and say, oh, you're not staked, we'll give them some information on, you know, different wallets that may be available to them, and, you know, just some loose information on how they can kind of get started in the community and get engaged with the protocol.
Yeah, I actually have a video on my channel because I wanted to take it from that approach. You know, new user, never staked before. So recently, last week, I created a video called How to Earn Multiple Native Tokens from Any Stake Pool on Cardano. And it starts off going over the multiple wallets on Cardano and which one to start with, the pros and cons. And then it heads into staking after you stake, and then it shows how to claim tokens. But of course, you have to wait the 10 days or 15 days for you get that delegation.
Yep. It's exactly what we need, because we feel as though our website, DripDropz.io, is bringing in a lot of people that get to see even Cardano for the first time. Like, it's their first visual of what Cardano is, because, I mean, I know for sure, because we've had ERC20 addresses getting pasted into the site. I know for sure that this went through the Ethereum community, and especially the ones that, you know how to interact with a MetaMask wallet and have dealt with NFTs and tokens. They hear free airdrops and they're all about it, because on Ethereum, this is not even close to possible.
Right.
So they hear something like this is happening, they migrate over. Well, okay, now we're far beyond that point, you know, of you being able to interact. We have to take it a step back, or a couple steps back, to get you to that point to be able to interact with Cardano and DripDropz just the same way you interact with Ethereum in your MetaMask wallet. So we need to really consider, we didn't realize when we made DripDropz that was going to happen, but most recently we've been seriously considering creating high quality educational content to onboard those people and know that they're coming in from these certain routes, and help them and guide them through the process.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Like, what I like about it, you know, from a network point of view, we're bringing new people to the Cardano, which I never thought was possible with just one project we just launched, right?
We got the coolest thing on any chain, man.
Yeah, but like,
we really do.
What I'm really happy about is, for the people who are already on Cardano, this has been new to me, where a couple of people mentioned to me on Twitter and in Telegram that I had no idea this project existed. And it's the same for me. Like, I know I'm working on DripDropz, and like some of these projects getting onboarded by Andrew, I'm like, oh, what? They're doing what? See, but nobody has the time to go explore all of this. Everybody's siloed in their own little communities. And like, it's very difficult to discover these. But now we just created something which is like the central hub of all the projects. You kind of have to go through this, and you're forced to learn about it, because now people are saying, okay, I can withdraw 10 tokens at the same time, but then I can withdraw more. But like, which one do I get first? Like, what is this for? Like, what? Yeah. It's just great.
Yeah, there's a lot of options there.
I'd like to say a little bit about projects and new projects onboarding. Just be patient with us, because we're getting, like, we were able to onboard 9 new tokens last epoch. And I think we've received over 100 projects so far. And within the last day, I've already received more than 9, that are potential to onboard. So if you're coming in, if you're filling out our onboarding forms, just bear with us, be patient. We're working as fast as we can there. Yeah. So lots more cool coins, tokens, projects going to get listed soon.
It's amazing to see just all the different projects now they're coming onto the platform. So it's like, yeah, how do you choose which ones like you want to actually pick? Because you got 10. So now, like, I wanted to talk with you guys a bit about that. I guess, Andrew, we can get into a little bit of like the onboarding process. I did also have a couple of questions from people who are just using the platform and getting started. And they were saying, so if I use DripDropz, right, is this something that is going to accrue, like it's going to build up like your staking rewards for ADA, they compound? So now I guess a question that some people they have is, well, if I don't claim my drips every epoch, are they going to continue to build up? But I'll let you guys answer to that. So like, do these compound, or is it like you have to claim it every epoch?
I can answer that. So we're implementing multiple incentive models. And the first incentive that we've implemented is essentially a stake-based incentive. And the performance requirements, what we need to kind of integrate that is putting us in a position where drips are not rolling over every epoch. They reset every epoch for the allocations. There's a couple reasons. They're not our tokens. They're technically the issuer's tokens. So they need to be able to pull those back at any time as well. But we do have a feature called instant rewards, where tokens can be allocated based on that instant access, and those instant rewards will carry over. So the staking mechanism, we're evolving that into like an NFT type staking scenario where fungible tokens can be rewarded based on a particular set or a single NFT that's being held in a wallet, right? So if you're holding an NFT, you could be eligible for an airdrop of a certain type of token. That's essentially what it equates to. Where we're taking the company, though, in addition, is more towards this instant rewards scenario where users are engaging with other dApps and apps all over Cardano land. And those dApps and apps, we're going to enable them with a single point where they can hit the drip server and reward those users. So when those users come back to get their drips whenever, because they're instant rewards, they can check in for like their favorite game that they play. They can go and pull their tokens down for whatever they earned, wherever. So it's kind of like a reward mechanism for all the apps and dApps coming. So now what we're trying to do is we're going to offload all that distribution, all the token delivery expertise. So you guys don't need to worry about that when you're building your projects. And all you need to do is know how to hit an API endpoint and give us the data we need to credit the correct user with the amount of tokens. And we'll even kind of build it out even further. So we've got endpoints where projects can go and hit the API and see how many tokens a user has distributed, so that user can be displayed within their platform, and even open it out so APIs can reward different types or multiple types of tokens. We're just going to build it out and go crazy with it.
Users are actually asking me for API as well. There are some smart people out there, how to do APIs. So, hey, I get why I have to come every epoch, and I do have multiple wallets because the wallet splitting. It would be cool if I could just hit an endpoint and actually schedule these, because I can write a bash script or something and have my character.
Yeah. We totally need to enable drip as a service. Absolutely. We'll create something where other projects can then go, and then Kaizen, like, you could sign up to a third party, enter all your addresses, drop some ADA in their smart contract or whatever, and they drip for you. We got to figure that out. That'd be so cool. We don't need to capitalize on all of it. We just need to enable the tools for everybody else to win.
Wow. Yeah. What an idea. Drip as a service. I like it. Now, I guess in terms of a little bit more of the technical side of things, so we're I guess starting to get our feet wet here. I guess so Rick, you do have a really great visual for us. I guess if we could talk a little bit more about the technical side of stuff, and then Andrew, I know you wanted to talk a bit about Firehose. Really cool technology there. So you got Project Firehose, which is actually sort of the back end for how all this is happening. So you got the UI, which is like the website, but then in terms of how this is interacting with the blockchain. So let's go ahead and talk a bit more about, the technical side of things and how this platform works.
Okay. Do you want me to put the screen share up and I'll talk to the, okay.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and do the screen share. Yeah. You can just kind of talk us through that.
All right. So, and something I would like to make note for the viewers is when we're talking about this token request that I'm going to put up on the screen share, we're talking about one transaction, not one block, one transaction that contains a UTXO response that fulfills the orders from 3 different users with 11 different tokens each, with a total of 33 possible different assets. I discussed this with Andrew this morning when we were going through what is the maximum capability. So the maximum capability of DripDropz with the Firehose backend enabled by the Firehose is you can deliver 33 different assets, including 3 ADA deliveries in one transaction, not one block, for 3 different users, okay? So that's important to note. That's one transaction that delivers all of those goodies, okay?
Just quickly, Andrew, the actual real capacity is higher, but we're being conservative to play nice with the blockchain so people get aware.
Correct. Yeah. And Rick's talking about a single transaction, but we can actually do multiple transactions per block as well. So it really is, drinking from a fire hose. That's where the name came from.
Yeah. Andrew could crank it up if he wants, but we're playing nice. And it could do way more than what it's already doing, which is a lot. Here's the screen share. Get that window. So this diagram comes from Andrew's Nerd Out channel. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
So there's a video over at Andrew Westberg's YouTube channel on Firehose that explains how Firehose works. So if you want to understand more technical detail, please go check out that video over on Andrew Westberg's YouTube channel. And here's the perspective as a diagram. You start over here from the user. And what does the user see and do? Okay. Now on the left-hand side, this web UI, this is Lethizen's field of expertise. He is a front-end UI developer, extremely good at it. Then over here in these blocks on the right, we have what the Firehose is doing on the back end. And from the user perspective, they log into DripDropz, they click drip it, drop an address, and the web UI responds to that user with an address. They send it. So that's where this workflow begins. The user sends a token request, right? They've selected 1 or 10 tokens, and they send their request. Now, Lathy and Andrew, if you guys would like to talk us through this diagram and just bring us right around the racetrack here.
Yeah, I can do that. So once the payment for the transaction fees lands on the chain, Firehose sees that in a block, and then we wait for 3 confirmations up here on this second thing. So that's usually around a minute because we have on average a block every 20 seconds. And the reason we wait is because sometimes there's block rollbacks or slot battles. There's more information on slot battles on my channel as well. But just to be safe, we make sure that the money really is transferred and confirmed on the blockchain. So we wait for 3 confirmations. And then after that last request is received, we wait an additional up to 1 minute for other users to come in. Now, normally Firehose there's requests coming in fast and furious through DripDropz. So usually this 1 minute is like no time at all. It's usually seconds before we actually package the multiple requests into a transaction. And then we send that off to the blockchain waiting to get into a block. Then this second to last box here, it doesn't actually wait for 3 confirmations before it's shown in most wallets, but some of the explorers like Cardano stand and stuff, they'll wait a few blocks before they will show a given transaction. So before it's really confirmed, you've got maybe another minute there. But this whole backend process, it just keeps cranking. It'll just, as we see a new block, we look back 3 blocks behind that, see if there's any new ones that we can process. We process as many requests as came in and as many transactions as we need to, chaining the transactions together, getting them back into the mempool, ready to go onto the blockchain. So we're kind of providing a bit of back pressure for the blockchain. So as we push requests out, that limits how many can come in, and Cardano is designed properly, so it handles that load just fine, and it keeps running at above 90% capacity while we're coming in fast and furious. And then over the course of the epoch, requests drop off a little bit, and then things chug along. But that's how it works.
This is very evident if you go on pool PM and trying to look at the pressure. Every epoch we bring the back pressure on, and it's always at 90% for the first few hours, which is fun to see.
I saw that. It was like, wait a minute, is there an NFT drop happening? And then it's like, nope, it's DripDropz.
No, just dripping.
It's going to get bigger and longer.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
I'm anticipating
more and more assets are
consistency.
coming, more and more users. Yeah.
I want to quickly touch
Earlier,
on.
I saw the Ineta BTC, which is pretty awesome. Ineta BTC is going to be dropping their governance token to any new user on the DripDropz platform.
Can we tell them a couple tokens that'll be on next epoch?
Yeah, exclusive.
Yeah, a little sneak preview. Okay, I like it.
Sure.
All right, so I think we're bringing on Logan the Lobster. Lobster token's going to join us. He is set up and ready to onboard, and there's lots of trading volume on there. So we're going to bring them on due to popular demand. What was the other one? Aneta, and then
CBTHC from Cardano Buds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cardano Buds is joining us. They have an awesome project. It's an in-game. You'll use it they have a really dynamic drop happening. So we're pretty stoked about that, because that's more of an in-game utility token. Man, there's just so many on the list. We're trying to prioritize them by popular demand and also who's been on the list the longest, because we don't want to keep jumping the list based off of popular product. But we are working through the list in a numerical fashion to the people that supported us earliest and signed up earliest, obviously. But then again, there are some like the special, tokens that come on from different blockchains, for instance, and they'll be only here for one epoch. We want to make sure that our early supporters get those tokens. So we kind of have to onboard them in a timely manner and then continue on with the list again.
Right. And I would just want to say too, we're not gatekeeping at all. If you guys can help us, guys. And if you have decimals in your token, get them registered with the Cardano Foundation registry. Get your metadata image attached to your tokens. You can either do it by minting a token and using the metadata and attaching it to it, or you can register it if your policy is expired. But if you guys do that, there's some minimum things that we would like to see before we present your token to the Cardano community. The community deserves it. So do a little work and get yourself squared as far as those go, and that'll help us move things a lot quicker.
Yeah, that was part of my question there. Is just like, what is the onboarding process like? So I guess there's a bit of legwork that you do have to do. Now, is there some type of application that you have to fill out? Is it like a Google form, or like what do people that want to get onboarded have to do aside from making sure everything's squared away on their end?
We have a
You're gonna
form.
blow up my list. That's what you're gonna do.
if you find our Telegram, if you look through the pinned messages there, and it's also on Discord and Twitter, anywhere else you can find us, you'll find this form. But yeah, it's a Google form right now. We're going to update that later on.
Okay,
that's what we're rolling with it at the moment. But all the information that we need is in there. So any of your socials, your contact information, any decimal points that you may have, because that's crucial information. The parameters, how you want to distribute. You have multiple, abilities there. Yeah, and we're starting to see a lot more variability in the types of tokens. Now, when we first launched, there was several meme coins, and so we're starting to see more utility tokens and game tokens, and even some DeFi stuff coming in.
I saw
we're-
Liquid did their airdrop through you guys too.
Yeah, we're having serious meetings. The meetings that I've been in.
Shout out to Liquid, man, for trusting us at the beginning. And if I could add, you know, we get a lot of the community that says, well, what's the point? You know, it's just meme tokens or whatever. We get it. We totally get it. We're in the same boat. We want to withdraw on DripDropz. We want to use the platform, and we want the platform to deliver the best product possible. But please consider that it's only 11 days old. I mean, we released the first edition 11 days ago. We did reach out to Occam. We did reach out to Sunday. We did reach out to World Mobile. We've reached out to the biggest tokens on the platform, and they are too big to mess with an MVP, basically a first draft of a product. So now that we've been able to display that we can actually do what we said we could do, it's a different conversation now. You know, they're more open to talking with us and working with us and setting up parameters and possibly onboarding. So, of course, we are striving to onboard serious and big projects. And man, we hope to become the standard of token distribution. We want to handle all the tokens of Cardano and distribute them by whichever parameters you set, whether it be narrow or wide. We can do that with accuracy and precision.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the parameters we can do right now?
Yeah, for sure.
So the simplest is you can do a blockchain wide flat rate drop per wallet. You can also do, you know, amount of tokens per amount of ADA staked in a pool. You can either say any pool, or you can say a specific list of pools. You can also get, you know, pretty funky with it if you want to do particular math. If you want to do a logarithmic distribution on how much ADA, so you can do kind of whale limiting. You can say max amount of tokens to drop or minimum amount to prevent wallet splitting. And then we have the new feature Kyle kind of alluded to is, you know, you could drop to people that have a particular NFT held in their wallet. So, you know, we're bringing on the capability to do NFT staking. So all kinds of different crazy parameters you can set for how your drop works.
I gotcha. There was I was listening to your guys' other podcasts, and there was a term that you guys had talked about. I just wanted to touch on it briefly. So it's Coin Desirability Index, so CDI. I guess, how does that all kind of tie into this? So like a token is going to issue either network wide or like to stake pool delegators, but like, how does CDI kind of fit into that?
Let's let Quinn take that one, can we?
I take the easy ones.
Well, you spent a lot of time talking about it on our internal chat. So
yeah, I would do it. The CDI is actually a pretty easy thing to think about. We show a token like the block-wide distribution. A token is shown to all the users, but not every token is actually withdrawn. And so there's actually a difference between what is shown and then what's actually withdrawn from it. And you can assume that a token that's well-liked, like Drip, well, you can, a token shown like Drip, you can withdraw it as much as you see it, and it should have a CDI of 1. Where meme coins that maybe no one really wants that are on the platform, maybe they have a lower CDI because they're shown a lot, but no one is actually withdrawing them into their wallets. So it's actually a really useful tool, and we should be implementing and seeing it on the Explorer in a couple epochs now, and it will make selecting tokens a little bit easier and more intuitive, and be based off of, you know, what you actually are selecting to.
Yeah. So right now,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, you go ahead.
There's a reason why we're building this CDI score, and it's actually a credit to Adam Dean. You know, he's the father of this idea. He came up with this. There's a reason, because like when you go on Google and you search for something, you know how you don't go to the 97th page to click on the result, right? You're always looking at the first 10, and it's almost certain that you're going to click the first result, even though my second result and third result might be more relevant. So the way Google ranks search results is by, again, being presented to you and how many times you're actually clicking it. And it's the same idea here. How many times the results are being shown to you and people are withdrawing it. So that builds up the CDI score, and we're going to actually use it to first of all show you what the CDI of each token is, as well as sort the list that you see, because it's important to get it in front of people's eyes, and people don't realize. Because right now there is no ranking, it's going to start randomizing what's being shown, which is kind of fair to build up a unbiased, CDI score. But once we get that, we can start ranking the list in which order, the order in which the token appears. When you said check my address, like check my drops, then you're going to see some tokens that are more valuable or desirable at the top and towards the bottom. So people are essentially voting with their wallet when they choose it. So if there was 10 tokens, 30 tokens shown, and you want all 30 of them, but you chose the first 10, that's actually going to affect the CDI score. So people really are voting with their wallet.
Now, on the initial rollout of this, we hadn't really talked about this part of it too much, but there will come a time, if we don't do it now, it will come a time very soon from now where there will be so many tokens on the platform that we will separate the different tokens and projects by categories. You'll have DeFi and utility and game or what have you. And so that CDI will actually, if you look at them all on one page versus their specific category, the CDI might actually be different based on the quantity together. So we'll talk about that and how we'll implement that later. But
and if I could add to that, a lot of people don't understand when they come and use the platform that when they put their wallet address in, it's like a fingerprint. Everyone's display is different. The tokens that you can see as available are different from another wallet. And this is deterministic on maybe which pool that you're in or how much ADA you have in that pool. It's all different. Some are flat rate, some are ratio based, some are selected pools, some are not. So everyone's is like a fingerprint and it's different. So your CDI ranking will be different amongst others. So here's an example of why we made the CDI index. In the event that, say, a pool comes onto the platform and they just want to spit out an advertisement and send it to every single delegate in the platform. Well, if there's delegates that are coming from other pools, it's not very likely that they're going to withdraw that token. So the CDI will be very, very low on a spam token, and it will fall to the bottom of the list, where if it actually has utility or if it's a pool token that's being designated to its actual delegates, there's a very high or likely chance that those people will actually withdraw that token, bringing it to the top of the CDI. So it's kind of like a spam filter built in. And what we would like to do, and that brings us on to the next subject, is like voting with the drip token to remove and add tokens from into the platform.
Voting is to be determined.
Yes. Yes.
So when we say voting, we're talking about some type of DAO, right? So you're going to have governance.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
And the CDI is a metric that helps us get started early to determine if that's something that can be left in place, or maybe it's something we need to adapt, because ultimately, we don't want to be here. We don't want to be doing this forever. But if it's good and it's something that can be left behind and have a positive impact, then that would be cool if it could persist.
I want to preface this, right? Just because something is a DAO doesn't mean it's magical and it will self-sustain itself. We still need people to maintain it. But what Kyle is alluding to is we don't want to be making the decision. That's why we created Drip. Who gets on board, who gets kicked off, and
Right.
This whole process can be vote driven. But the problem we're finding out is that it's very different from how the name is escaping me. The voting process in Cardano works.
Catalyst.
Yeah, it's very different because your vote powers is the amount of ADA you have, but then you just cast your vote and it's registered on the chain, and you don't actually send your ADA to vote, right? And that's returned to you at the end of it. Whereas ours is you have to get the token. There's only 45 billion supply ever, and the policy is locked. Therefore, there's no new tokens could be generated. At the same time, we want circulation of this going on, because there's otherwise, what if in the future loads of people wants to decide the future of the DripDropz platform, and there's not enough token to go around because people are hodling it or doing something crazy with it. So we need people to vote with it, but then we're battling the idea, how do you vote for something which people are, right now might want to hodl? Like, we have to come up with a really good approach for voting, and we have to get it right the first time, because it's nothing like this has been done before.
Right. Yeah, we're all just pioneers in this. It's amazing. We're all just the first in how to do this correctly. That's yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And I would like to thank the users for all of the user feedback that we got on our recent surveys. We have a massive amount of feedback. We will get almost all of the recommendations implemented, but just keep in mind it does take some time because we are very methodical about it. We have shadowy supercoders on the front end and the back end, and making sure all the infrastructure connects the dots. And we don't do the code fast and break things. We actually test things individually, then we test it inside the test net. We beat it up on there before we deploy it out onto the main net. So we have a pretty good process for doing that. But we do have a ton of user feedback, and a lot of the features have been implemented, but there's still a ton more to do, and we will continue to solicit user feedback and user inputs because it's worked out very well so far. So I just want to pass on that. Thanks.
And I want to just lightly throw this out there, like we can deliver updates to the site without taking down the whole website unless there's a huge update. One notable example would be when a 1.33 node came out, it required a resync, and then Andrew needed to take a fresh copy of the production snapshot, and for that we needed a 45 minutes. And we were on point, that was good. But since launching the site, without that kind of big maintenance windows, we've released at least 30 to 40 different updates to the site. And things will just flow in and you won't even notice it. Like 1 minute you're using the site, and then on the next refresh, all of a sudden you have access to a new feature. That's how it is.
I guess to the end user, they couldn't even tell the difference, right? That's the beauty of it. When you're able to make these things happen in the background and there's really no hiccups. Very, very nice. That's awesome. Guys, I did have a question about something that we had talked about previously. I just want to circle back to it really quick. There's a lot of people who are interested in the idea of NFT staking. And when I first heard about it, it really just intrigued me. And I just wanted to learn more from you guys since we're here on this podcast. The way for it to work, I guess, could you explain that a little bit? And then I guess, like, how does it work?
There's a couple different ways, and everybody can kind of talk about examples, but essentially you can provide a fungible token reward for an NFT that's being held in a wallet. So one model we can definitely talk about is unsig holders are going to receive an unsig token, right? And the unsig token, you'll be able to claim that from DripDropz just for holding an unsig. So at some point within a few epochs, I believe it's 3 or 4, it's going to happen. There's going to be a snapshot. 318. So coming into 318, there'll be a snapshot. So if you hold an unsig, you will be eligible to receive 1 unsig token for every unsig that you hold. That unsig token you'll have to claim from DripDropz. And then what's going to happen is you'll be able to redeem that for one of Alex's next NFT collection on Cardano. So it's a pretty cool process to or tool for an NFT project to reward their users. Another example, like Jet Chicken, the card game, right? You buy a pack of cards, you got some fungible cards, and then you've got NFTs. What we're going to do is we're going to release a set of 10 new fungible cards that people can go in based on how many different NFTs you have, can get different types of fungible cards and just add cards to your collection from DripDropz, right?
Right.
So then we've got all kinds of NFT projects that we're talking. It's just going to get really, really interesting.
Wow. So you don't even have to like say send these NFTs to the platform in order to be able to receive these tokens, right? You just have them in your wallet.
Yeah, you have to make sure that they're in your staking wallet. So you can't hold them on an enterprise address or in some CLI wallet. I think there's currently 36 unsigs still on an enterprise address. So get those moved into a regular staked wallet and make sure that it is staked to a pool. So they do have to be staked to a pool. people like to hide their NFTs and enterprise addresses sometimes, but yeah, get them back into a regular staked address.
Yeah.
And
Cool
then,
thing of, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say how that snapshot works. So every epoch, the epoch rolls over and the Cardano blockchain takes a snapshot of where all the ADA is on the blockchain. And that's what we use to calculate rewards, drip drops, everything. We now take our own snapshot where we look for particular signatures for particular NFTs that we care about. So we'll be looking for the UNSIG's policy and where all those are, and we'll store those in a snapshot every epoch that the thing runs for. We're going to get funky. There's another NFT project, I forget the name of it, but like they have some male characters, some female characters, and then they're going to drop a token based on you holding both of those NFTs. I mean, it's going to get crazy.
I mean, when DripDropz came along, people equated it as on every epoch, it used to be just ADA payday. Now it's token payday, right? Now we're introducing, it used to be just staking, right? ADA staking. Now we can do NFT staking. We're here to innovate. We'll keep on going.
Stake of ownership is basically what we like to refer that to as a stake of ownership on a certain NFT. And you're rewarded by supporting the artist in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, we're excited to have UNSIG on. Alex was a pleasure to work with. It was super fun onboarding them. And we're looking forward to onboarding more NFT project and stepping the game up on each one and seeing what else we can do with DripDropz.
We're having so much fun.
Mandala is going to be using the same
Nice.
thing to do some stuff. They've actually already used Firehose for one airdrop and another airdrop coming up, but they'll be using the system to send out graphic novels to people who hold Mandala sovereigns. And there's all kinds of cool stuff that's going to be coming out. Not just,
Yeah, see, the reason why we go into depth about, what kind of parameters we can do and what the capabilities are, because we're in the business of creating a platform. It's up to the people who create these projects and token and say, aha, I can use it this way. And Alex Monad from UNSIG actually did just what we hoped. He saw what DripDropz did and just kept, I think he asked somebody and said, hey, can you do a drop based on NFT? And then here we are. I have to thank Andrew. He literally completed that work in one day. I thought I was fast.
Yeah, and that's very important to understand how dangerous this team is. We're moving very fast and we can implement stuff very, very quickly. It's scary.
Yeah, so with that, if you have a project and you think we might be able to do something for you, hit us up. And if we don't have it, we can build it. Like, that's the cool part about it. We're open to doing custom stuff or tweaking tools, so they'll work for your application. So that's pretty much what we're here for.
I love that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are going to want to talk to you guys. There's just a lot of projects coming out, whether it's these fungible tokens, DeFi, NFTs, lots of stuff. So guys, this was quite the conversation. I'm so stoked about what you guys are building. I wanted to go ahead and leave the floor open to you guys. If there was any last minute remarks, last minute updates, if you guys have any more sneak peeks that we can take a look at, anything like that. Just really enjoyed this conversation today. So I just wanted to say thank you to all you guys here.
Yeah, I just want to add real quick. There's so many creators in this space that are innovative and coming up with new ideas. And just to circle back around a little bit, people like DRP and Cardano Nudes, he's basically putting educational materials and multimedia materials and tokens. And so that'll be coming up soon on DripDropz. Also, people will be getting educational multimedia stuff in their wallets from
I
DripDropz.
love that project, Alexandria project. You guys got to check that out.
He minted the first whiteboard video, which actually the one that brought me to Cardano. Was that you, Kyle?
No, that was neat. That video brought me too.
Yeah, it's so weird. That's the video. Like, when people ask me what's Cardano, I just send them that video, and like I said, look, I watched this. I instantly went to get my bank card. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting some of this. I knew immediately that was it. Like, no other crypto out there made me feel like that. I saw the hype of Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's like, yeah, but I don't know. But like, no other coin made me feel like what Cardano did with a whiteboard, and he took that video and turned it into an NFT, and this guy is on another level.
Yeah, and I also want to send an invitation out to any project if you are looking for distribution and maybe you don't understand the best way to go about the incentives, and you guys are a legitimate project, well, definitely reach out. We'd love to have a conversation. And that goes for any corporate entity outside of the crypto space. If you guys want to come talk to us and you guys are interested in engaging in the crypto space in some ways, we can come up with a pretty cool plan to help you bridge your real world, utilization to users on the blockchain.
Yeah, we've done it so many times now with so many various different funky little distributions. I think we can call ourselves subject matter experts now.
Every DeFi
after
platform
11
in
days.
development.
11 days.
Every DeFi platform in development on Cardano right now, as far as I know, we have contacted all of those, and we're developing a relationship with those people.
Yeah,
And we're having discussions with them now, and a lot of exciting stuff come out of that too. So we'll, there'll be more on that also in the DeFi space.
Yeah, most
Also,
definitely.
if you're a Catalyst winner of some kind, the whole community supported your project through Catalyst. This is a perfect way to give back to the whole community. If you just want to do a blockchain wide distribution, thank you to everybody. It's better than, launching through just a couple pools or something. Just blast it to everybody because the whole community supported you,
Yeah, I like
Good
that.
shout
idea.
out. Yeah, very good.
I like that.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much again. It would be a pleasure to have you guys back on the channel. I know we're 11 days old at this point, still in the first stages, but I know you guys are just going to crush it. It's just incredible just to see your progress. So anytime you guys wanted to come on and give us an update about what you've been doing, it would be an incredible honor to have you back on the channel. But thank you so much, everybody. I really did learn a lot. For all of our viewers, thank you all so much. Please be sure to check out the links down below if you wanted to learn more about DripDropz. If you are a token issuer, if you're an NFT project, if you want to get in touch with these guys, go ahead and check out those links. That's the best way to do it. Guys, thank you so much again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Pritesh.
Thanks for having us.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.